Hello and welcome to our next video. In this lesson, we're going to go ahead and check in our changes, have it propagate out to AppHarbor, and hopefully now that we have the information in place for the database migrations, hopefully that'll take place on AppHarbor. It will connect to our database and create the information we need and allow us to work with contacts by user. So let's give it a try and see what happens. What I want to do is go to the folder that contains my project and right-click and select Get GUI here, and this will automatically scan for the changes. So I'm just going to expand this a little bit so that we can see it more easily. And again, we're going to leave out all of the information on the MDFs and LDFs. So what I want to do is I'm just going to say Control I again, and we'll say yes for the yes, and we'll unlock our index. And something didn't work. It won't let me do the MDFs because they're in use right now. So let's just go ahead and we'll try to do a Control T for the ones we have already. And then we'll get the rest of them here as well after the log files. And that will allow us to have all of the information except for the database files. And this is going to be called adding authentication and contact web context migrations. So we did a little more than we probably should have before we checked in, but that's all right. And we'll have all that information right there. So we'll go ahead and commit that. And let's go ahead and push it out. And again, you should be able to connect to your origin now, but if you can't, just go get your Bitbucket URL, put that into arbitrary and hit push. And if you have to, enter your password. So hopefully everything will push and propagate correctly. Now the $64,000 question. Now that it's propagated and goes out to AppHarbor, will it actually work? So it'll take a moment to build, so I'm going to go out to my AppHarbor account and log in and do all that. You don't need to watch me do that. And get to my application page. So there we can see it's actually building at this time. So it's not complete. So we'll let this thing build for a little bit, and then I'll be right back with you. All right, and my build has deployed. So that's great. Notice it says active. So if for some reason yours is sitting there and this one's deployed and that one says it's done and it worked and it doesn't say active, you can always click on deploy to deploy another version. So I wanted to take a moment to show you that. And luckily mine just went ahead and deployed itself, so that's awesome. So here's the $64,000 result. Oh, and we got an error and we can't see what it is. So let's go back to just the contact web AppHarbor.com. So the entire application seems to be broken. So obviously I wasn't expecting this to happen. I was expecting that this would have worked. So I'm not sure 100% what's going on here, but that's awesome because now you get to see me try to figure it out. So you don't have to stick around to watch this if you don't want to, but I'm going to take just a few minutes here to show you how I can see my errors on this page without having to go do anything different. So I wonder if I don't have an error in my configuration file to begin with, or something silly like that where I've made a typo, because I'm not sure why this wouldn't work. So I'm going to turn my custom errors off. Now you wouldn't ordinarily want to do this because it's going to display full verbose errors to anyone looking at the app. So you don't necessarily want that. But for the purposes of what's going on here, let's see if we can't just quickly do that. And so we're removing debug, but I'm going to go ahead and yeah, I don't need the system.web again. So we're going to turn custom error mode off. I'm not sure if that's going to be sufficient enough. Let's see. So we're not going to redirect to a page. So let's actually take this out so that we don't need this. But we do need to do a transform for replace, I believe. Just to make sure that that's there. Now that's in the system web, so we should be good to go. I'm going to take this out just to clean this up a little bit. And I'm actually going to take this out as well because I don't need it. And the less I have in here, the easier it's to find stuff. So let's go ahead and rescan here. And let's just go ahead and move this over, Control T. And then we're going to say turning on errors. Commit that and push it. And That is going to hopefully get me set up so that now the next time it deploys out here, I should be able to see my errors at least. So I'm going to pause and let this build, and then we'll come back and see what happens. And check this out. It did build, but it hasn't deployed yet. So this is a good example for me to just go ahead and say, you click that and it should deploy it. Since it's built, it shouldn't take long to deploy. It says it's queued. So we can just hit F5 and continually do that until it finally says active there. All right, we're active. Let's see if this worked the way that I think it should. It didn't. Okay. So my transform isn't correct. So looking at web config here, looks like we don't even have custom errors defined in system.web. So let's go ahead and remove this replace, and we'll put insert. And let's just really quickly review this so that we can see what it's going to look like and make sure it's doing what we think it is. So let me bring this out a little bigger. So we got connection strings, app IDs, target framework, system web is not showing my custom error mode at all. So that's no good. All right, let's do this. Let's put it into the base one. It really shouldn't matter anyway. So let's take this custom errors mode out of here. And it might have been that I didn't have it saved, actually. Not sure. So let's go ahead and throw this into system web here, and we'll take the transform out because this is going to be in the default version. Let's just again preview here and make sure it does come across this time. So let's see, custom web, system web, custom errors mode equals off is there. All right, so now I'm going to redeploy, redo all that stuff. So we'll go back to AppHarbor after. All right, so let's see if we have it now. All right, yep, so we have a configuration error. An error occurred. The process configuration file required a service. Please review the specific errors and details. So it was something that I'd done in the configuration file, which is not surprising. So I would guess it's in the release around the contact web context being incorrect. And so do I have a missing comma or something somewhere? Someone is probably looking at this going, it's right there, it's right there. I'm going to take a moment to look at it. Looks like it might be this. Should have been replace instead of insert. Let's see if that's the truth. We have a contact web context. Yes, so that's hopefully going to be the issue. Let's just make sure, again, previewing the transform here, make sure that our contact web is going to the right place. It still looks wrong, actually. It looks like there's two of them there. Looks like we have contact web context and contact web context again. And no default connection for some reason. All right, we're going to take a break here, and I will get this fixed up in the next video and show you what's wrong with it and how to fix it. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.